Alright, so this is going to be the first 3 types of exercises that I want you to start doing in order to help to alleviate your shoulder problems. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that your posture is the most crucial thing that you can start to look at when it comes to shoulder problems. Again, if our head's shifting forward and our back's hunched over like this, and then our shoulders are rolled in, that's one of the things that you want to start to correct, or at least work towards correcting in the first place. So I always tell patients, you want to pretend like you have a string attached to the crown of your head, and you want to have your ears, your shoulders, and your hips in alignment here. So if you can just pretend, if you're having some bad posture here, if you can pretend you have a string attached to the crown of your head, I want you to pull that up towards the ceiling and really just start to tuck the chin in just a little bit. You're not doing a chin tuck, but it's just rocking it back here. You're going to bring the ear over your shoulder. You're going to bring the shoulders back. And the way you're going to bring your shoulders back is you're going to contract the muscles in between the shoulder blades. So I don't want you just to kind of just pretend like you're doing that. I want you to actually contract those muscles and bring those shoulder blades almost to where you're trying to have them hug the spine here. So you're going to open up and contract those muscles, and you're going to bring that chest up a little bit. And then as you do that, you're going to contract the core. So as you're doing that, you're going to tuck that or rock that chin back, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then also contracting your core and squeezing the core all the way around from the back, the side, and then also the front, and that will get you into a more neutral position and a neutral posture. So that's the very first step you want to do if you have shoulder problems. Let's try to correct that posture, watching your ergonomics while you're on the computer, while you're on your cell phone. So there's so many different things that you need to look at when it comes to your posture, but think about the ear over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips here, okay? Now, the second thing when it comes to shoulder problems is we got to get movement in that joint, okay? I want to get some lubrication and some movement, just because when you have shoulder injuries, oftentimes we don't move it very well and it gets more arthritic, which means that it gets lack of movement, and then there's a lot of inflammation that we need to pump out, because if there's more swelling, it's going to cause more irritation to that joint. So the first thing I recommend, this is the second, the posture is the first thing. The second thing I'm going to recommend is if you can get like a can of soup, or just something that weighs roughly around like 2 to 5 pounds depending on who you are and what you're able to carry. If you have a lot of pain during this, don't do any weight, just kind of get some movement. So this is called the pendulum swing. So you want to find a desk, a chair, a table, whatever you can find, and you're just going to hold and rest your arm on one thing, on the surface here. Now the key to this is you're going to just rock your arm back. So what you want the weight for is because it's going to just pull your shoulder and loosen up those ligaments. You want to relax the muscles around the shoulder and just let the weight pull onto the arm to distract that joint, so we can start getting some movement in there and start to pump out some of the swelling and inflammation. So the first thing you want to do, you're just going to rock it back and forth here. And this is good to do in the morning, this is good to do in the afternoon and in the evening especially, but really the morning is probably the best time because you haven't been getting any movement, and so this is a good time to start loosening up the joints and lubricating that. And then the other way you want to do is, once you get some good movement going on there, again, I'm relaxing the muscles. The pendulum comes from my body movement, moving back and forth here. Now you're going to do it also from the side. Again, you want to hold something in the front, but you're just going to go ahead and just start small, and then you're just going to start swinging this thing as far as you can. And you can also help it just a little bit with the muscles if you need to, but really I want to try to just do it all with the body weight and get that moving here. And again, I'm just trying to let my muscles relax. I'm trying to let the weight pull down onto the bottle or the weight, whatever you're holding, the can of soup. And then you're just trying to get some movement in that joint to pump out some of the inflammation and the swelling here, okay? Now the other thing you're going to do is, now we're going to do what's called circumduction. You're just going to start in the small circles. You're going to start from one side, you're going to go counterclockwise, start small circles here. You're just going to start going from small to bigger, and then to as big as you're able to, just to get, again, that movement within the joint. And you're just going to keep going. And you might feel a little soreness, you might feel a little tenderness, but it shouldn't be extremely painful. It's just trying to get some good, easy movement. And then you're going to go ahead and stop. You're going to go clockwise now. Now you're going to go the opposite direction. And again, same thing, letting the weight hang, pulling the arm down, relaxing the muscles, and just getting bigger and bigger circles as you're doing it. And you're just trying to get some good movement within the shoulder here. Alright, okay, so do it with both arms, I recommend, especially if you have shoulder injuries on both sides. But really, I would just recommend, even if you only pain on one side, I recommend doing it on both sides, just because you want both shoulders to function just as well here. Okay, now the last thing I want to say is something called spider crawls. Now, because we're restricted, some patients, you can only lift your arm like this high. Some people can only go this far, and you can't bring your arm behind you, so it just depends on what's going on for you. But really, one of the things I want to do is start to increase your range of motion, stretching those ligaments and as much as you're able to. So the way we're going to do that is by basically call them spider crawls. So you're going to get your fingers, and you're going to touch the wall, and then you're going to just climb up the wall and just go as high as you can. You don't need to do both arms unless you have shoulder problems on both arms here, but you just want to start with one arm, climb up the wall, and just go as high as you can. So I don't want to get out of the picture, friend. Okay, so I'm in the picture. So you just want to hold on to the wall and just go as far as you're able to up into the wall here. And once you get above shoulder level, I would even recommend just leaning just a little bit onto that as you're holding it, and then going just a little bit higher, and then leaning into it, and go a little bit higher if you can, and then lean into it. And then just keep going a little bit higher, and you want to try to get as high as you can, and then we want to try to get this shoulder all the way back up here if we are able to. Same thing, we want to go onto the side here, crawling up the wall. And again, once you get about above shoulder height, you want to lean into it just a little bit. Again, if it's too painful, you can take it easy, ice it if you need to, and then get back into it. Or if it's just too painful, you can just kind of go as high as you can go comfortably, and then just go a little bit by a little bit. You don't have to rush the process. Again, too many people rush this process to try to heal quicker, but oftentimes that actually is bad for it, just because you keep going a little bit. Basically take a step forward and you take 2 steps back. So we want to take this nice and easy, become very nice and patient with your body here. And again, leaning into that shoulder a little bit higher, and leaning into it. And again, you want to try to get this as high as we can, just to get some of that pressure off of that joint, but then to stretch out those muscles, stretch out those ligaments, and really try to get some movement in there, okay? So those are the 3 things I want you to start working on. 1, like I said, watch your posture, start to do those exercises. I would recommend doing those things 10 times, just going from there, rocking that back, holding that for 30 seconds, and then go back wherever you feel comfortable, your neutral position. Go back, squeeze the shoulder blades, contracting the core, rocking the head, and then relaxing. The other one is going to be the pendulum swing. And then the last thing is the spider crawls up the wall. So that's the thing I want you to start off with. Beginning in terms of the shoulder protocol is really just getting some movement, getting some stretching, and then also just getting your posture to start getting corrected, to open up the shoulders, open up your mid back, and then opening up your chest as well. So hope that helped you guys, and please let me know if you have any questions whenever I see you next. So hope that helps you guys. God bless. We'll see you in the next video.